this specific watch is going to be sold in December at the Philips auction. And this watch was made specifically for the renowned American filmmaker, Francis Ford Coppola.
The legendary filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola is selling a watch that was never meant for sale. A one-off prototype created by François-Paul Journe. They called it the FFC for Francis Ford Coppola. The auction will bring him far more than $1 million. François-Paul Journe has already spoken about this decision, a moment neither of them imagined years ago when their friendship began.
Eventually, Mr. Coppola invited the watchmaker to his residence. He said, whenever you're in or around the Napa Valley, please do come and stay with us. And there was an opportunity, and Mr. Journe went to the United States and stayed with Mr. Coppola for 3 days.
How did this collaboration start?
In English, they say the hands of time, or on the watch, the hands of the watch. But in French, they're not called hands. A literal translation in French is needles or aiguilles. And this is what developed the idea of Frank saying, or Mr. Coppola saying, well, why don't we make a watch that you would be able to tell the time by one hand or fingers on a hand?
The idea here is great. Is it useful?
This hand that appears to show the time is not necessarily the most useful complication, but in this case, it's a work of art trying to display the time in a novel way.
How the hand works on the dial. Let's explain that more. I found an image here that is basically showing how you can read the time on this watch. When there is no thumb, just the index finger, it's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Or 2 fingers is 2 o'clock. But when there is thumb already, this is not 2 o'clock, it becomes 8 o'clock. I read about this a lot, but I couldn't understand the logic, honestly.
You have to keep in mind, when there's no thumb, you're basically working with one hand. As soon as the thumb is introduced, you have to think that, one hand is already full of digits, the 5. So that is sort of in your mind. And then when you have the symbol 3 like this, it's not really 3, it's 5 plus 3, because this one has already passed. In terms of design, it's not my particular taste of having a hand on the dial.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, but since you mentioned...
yes, it's not.
Yeah.
But this goes beyond the actual design of the watch. It's the story of what it represents, and it's always like that. The story that comes with the watch is stronger than the actual design of the watch itself.
I noted a few facts here about the significance of this watch, and I'll read them out loud. So the first thing, it's a prototype watch. The second thing is that Mr. Coppola's name is engraved on the watch. The third thing is that there is second prototype too, and that second prototype belongs to François-Paul Journe. And the fourth most important fact is that this prototype that's going to head to the auction in December is assembled by Journe's own hand.
So it's interesting you mentioned that, because yes, actually the FFC watch is assembled by Journe. Journe's watch is assembled by himself, and he asked if he would be able to produce this as a public watch, so they're not all limited. He also has watches available to the public, and he made, I think, 6 or 7 of them, and all of them are assembled by him except the last one. So either number 6 or 7, I'm not sure how many exactly he produced. He assembled all of them except the last one, and he was working on another project, and he said, I will ask a watchmaker to assemble the last one.
You remember there was this, one of the famous cases when Sylvester Stallone sold his Patek Philippe watch, and a lot of opinions that you will never get another Patek Philippe because
they see you, you are a high profile person. Yeah, and there was this confrontation that, collector and the watchmaker, it's not fair to the watchmaker, but this is not the case.
You know why this idea was created, that watchmakers don't like when you sell their watch, is it's different than the argument of when you are at your last moments in life, or you're preparing your legacy, and you decide to sell the watch. Is completely different than you go and you ask the watchmaker, I really want this piece because it's valuable, the value is going to go up, and you buy it, you hold it just a little bit, and then you sell it as a transaction, as if you're buying stocks and selling stocks. This is what the watchmaker does not want you to do.
Okay, so first of all, we see on the media that the reason is that filmmaker couldn't bring back the money he invested in his movie called Megalopolis. And I want to read a small sentence from the New York Times that reported about the movie, and they say, there is no kind way to put it, but Megalopolis died on arrival over the weekend. And the publication also tells that, the production cost was 120 million. And legendary filmmaker put a lot of money from his own pocket because he didn't want to ask for sponsorship and so on. And he couldn't recoup the money.
Mr. Coppola is in a difficult situation. So he is trying to fund his, the message that he would like to leave. He's at the end of his career. This is likely his last movie, or one of the last movies that he's going to be making. He wants to leave a legacy of, of doing some good within the community that he was part of. And so this message, although maybe not blockbuster type, very popular like the early movies that he created, it is an important message. This is like your parents giving you, important information regarding life. You find it boring, you roll your eyes, but when you grow up or when time passes, you realize that, oh wait, the message that this person left me is actually very valuable. So he's at that point in his life, I find, and that he's trying to leave this legacy of doing well or sending the right message to society in general. So if he's at the last step in his career, selling his watches to be able to fund an idea that is important for him, I think is something noble to do. He did ask authorization from Journe himself, and Journe supports this because not only their friends.
Let me read that part, right? Yeah. Mr. Journe says, I'm proud to fully support the sale of this watch through Philips to fund the creation of his artistic masterpieces in filmmaking.
Well, the inventing portion was done by Mr. Frank Coppola himself. So technically, he is a partner in the creation of this watch, and not just necessarily a pure customer buying a simple watch. Although he is selling all his watches, and even the first one where he was a customer, this one has a different meaning because he was part of the creation of this piece. So that gives him that much more, power to be able to sell it.
Now, Philips, where the watch will be auctioned, estimated that the value of the watch will be $1 million, but it will probably go way higher.
I would say closer to 10 million. We say sell, but it's also looking at a way of transitioning it to someone else, someone that will hold this legacy of history of this piece, and will make sure that that piece remains, in good condition for generations to come.